The energy is electric on the Texas Tech campus as the university community gears up for a huge showdown at the Jones. Coming up, MCTV's Aiden Watson has a look at how a makeshift village is hyping up Red Raiders and giving students the chance to get as close to the action as possible.
Halloween is come and gone, but not before campus groups took every opportunity to celebrate the haunted holiday. MCTV's Noah McKay and George Cabrera bring us a special look at the variety of the ways that Red Raiders could get in on the spooky spirit.
The polls have closed after voters across the country made their voice heard during the most recent round of November elections. And President Trump is back in Washington following an important diplomatic trip to the other side of the world. Madilyn Coyne will get you up to speed on both stories in today's edition of MCTV's Inside the Issues.
And Texas Tech football has been stealing the headlines this week, but two other teams are also making some noise as they tipped off the 2025-26 season on the hardwood. MCTV's Logan Lacy has details on Red Raider and Lady Raider basketball debut, along with a rundown of Texas Tech athletics' upcoming schedule in sports.
This is the MCTV Weekday Update.
Welcome to the Thursday edition of the MCTV Weekday Update. I'm Reese Futch.
And I'm Christopher Van Antwerp. The biggest Texas Tech football game of the year so far, and maybe even the last 17 years, is less than 2 days away from kicking off in Jones AT&T Stadium. And the energy for this weekend's showdown, featuring two top 10 ranked teams, has spread all across campus.
It's also inspired a lot of students to pack up their things and temporarily change their residence to the Jones. MCTV's Aiden Watson has details on the sacrifices some students have been willing to make for a front row seat to Saturday's action.
Right now, I'm outside the Jones AT&T Stadium where students are lined up for the Texas Tech BYU game days before kickoff. This is a highly anticipated top 10 showdown where students will be calling these spacious or not so spacious tents their homes for the week. Welcome to Raiderville, a tradition that began over 15 years ago during the 2008 and 9 football season, where students camp out in tents the week prior to a massive home game. With this week's matchup against the number 7 BYU Cougars, players like Cameron Dickey and Loic Shabangu are loving these fans' dedication.
Man, to be honest, we love it. Just we're excited for the game. So we'll be playing 3 or so days, and then I'm out here already. We already know the game's gonna be super high. It's just I love to see it.
Yeah, so I came from Belgium in France, so it's kind of new for me, but I'm really excited about it.
Though this may seem like a week-long tailgate for some, students like Bronson Nyota have to manage their time perfectly to still attend classes and get their classwork done.
I'm barely getting by. I get up at the crack of dawn because I have a presentation tomorrow, not at 9. So I got to go, get up really early, head to my room and shower and probably prepare for my essay. And then I got to go get my presentation and then hurry back here.
The students say classwork is certainly a priority, but once classes are finished, students come back to their crammed but fun living situations for the night.
We have 2 air mattresses, a queen and a twin. Yes. We have a cooler in there with water, we have snacks, a bunch of blankets. It doesn't really get cold.
I just have a blanket that I've realized that if I fold it in half, I'm like a taco, and put myself as a feeling in that taco, then I can kind of have a little bit of padding on the bottom.
It's supposed to be a 3-person tent, but it looks like a 1-person tent.
And we brought extra blankets.
Brought a TV, snacks, gonna go get Chipotle. We're set, we're different.
Students camping out have also had the opportunity to meet players and coaches, and even get some autographs as they leave the practice facility. Students say they are eager for this game, and they have some good predictions in mind as well.
This game isn't going to be even remotely close. BYU, they're a bunch of bums.
So I think we have a really good shot. It's going to be a close game, though, maybe overtime, but I think we should win by at least 1 or 3. That's my prediction.
Yeah, I think you're going to win.
I'm going to go 35-24 Tech.
Pick 6, J-Rod.
J-Rod, yes.
Aiden Watson joins us now live in the studio. Aiden, I've heard you're one of the students who has been camping out in Raiderville this week. What have you thought about the experience?
Honestly, the experience has been so much fun out there. It's not a joke when I say it is a week-long tailgate. I didn't get any sleep last night. People were listening to music and partying it up, I think until 3 a.m., so I'm running on 4 hours of sleep right now. But I've gotten to meet so many players out there. I took a picture of Jacob Rodriguez, got to meet Baron Morton, and it's been such a blast out there.
So, Aiden, what's your prediction for this weekend's game?
Honestly, I know BYU's undefeated and all, but after looking at their schedule so far, they had a convincing win against Utah and a convincing win against Iowa State, but They barely won against Arizona in double overtime, and they barely won against Colorado. So you know what? I think Texas Tech's defense is going to hold them to a very few amount of points, and I think they're going to get a double-digit win, 35-24 final score.
Thanks, Aiden. Back here on the main campus, it's First Gen Week. Several Texas Tech departments and groups have been providing options for students who are the first members of their immediate family to attend college to pursue a bachelor's degree. Yesterday afternoon, the Davis College of Agricultural Sciences and Natural Resources celebrated first-gen Casimir students with a special event, Find Your People. A Davis College student social took place in the dairy barn loft located on the second floor of the building. The event included free food and drinks, games, and a chance for students to meet fellow first-gen Red Raiders. Several representatives from the Davis College were also at the dairy barn to give attendees information about Casimir's programs. Staff from Student Disability Services and the Student Mental Health Community were also available to answer questions and provide resources to students. The Davis College Student Social was just one of the several events taking place across campus this week, and there are still a couple of options left on the schedule. Tomorrow, the Red Raider Roots First Gen celebration is scheduled from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. in the Student Enrichment Center just east of the sub. The event will feature free food, games, and even more resources for students. And then tomorrow night, the last event of the First Gen Week features a chance to enjoy some free tea and snacks while meeting Red Raiders from across the campus community. The Muslim Student Association will be hosting an on-campus chai night at 7 p.m. in the Matador Lounge on the second floor of the sub. MSA's event will feature First Gen students, but all the Red Raiders are invited to stop by and grab a cup of chai. For more information on both events, visit studentengagement.ttu.edu/firstgenweek.
The Student Activities Board hosts dozens of events each year, with some options featuring humorous themes and activities. But SAB's most recent event here on campus can only be described as just plain cheesy. Starting at 11 a.m. yesterday, students gathered outside the sub at the Red Raider Plaza, gazebo for SAB's Say Cheese event. The student group made arrangements for the Lone Star Mac Dough food truck to provide lunch to hungry Red Raiders until 1 p.m. The food truck features several Italian options along with a traditional mac and cheese. The first 300 students in line could enjoy the cheesy treat for free, all courtesy of SAB.
I hope they got a good lunch, they got to socialize, and that they got to just have a break in between class instead of sitting around.
After grabbing a bite to eat, students could stop by the Red Raider gazebo to create their own cheese-themed bookmark and grab some swag at the Student Activities Board's table. Say Cheese was the first of SAB's events scheduled for November, but there's plenty of fun and free options on the calendar throughout the month. For a look at all of November's planned events and activities, visit sab.ttu.edu and check out the fall activity calendar link near the bottom of the page.
1 week ago, the city of Lubbock experienced its first freeze of the fall season. Temperatures stayed cooler into the weekend, but since then, we've seen a warm-up across the South Plains.
There's several outdoor events on the calendar for this weekend, including the Tech versus BYU game. So, what can fans expect as they head out to the Jones? Weather specialist Elisabeth Herring joins us now with details on the outlook for the next several days in the MCTV forecast. Elisabeth?
Yeah, well, gorgeous days we've had, but they have been a little bit on the warmer side. We saw a freeze last Thursday for about 5 minutes. We were right at 32 degrees, and it looks like we might be up for another one later this weekend. But for now, temperatures running pretty warm. Yesterday hit a high of 81 degrees. That's about 13 degrees above normal, usually in the upper 60s at this time of year. Lows also running slightly warm. Well, the warm weather has also contributed to the drought, as well as we've had no rain. We've had no rain for quite a while, and the little rain we did get didn't make much of an impact on our drought monitor. Most of the South Plains at least seeing abnormally dry. Those northeastern areas seeing moderately dry. So if we keep up these dry conditions, we could unfortunately see that drought monitor go deeper into the levels. Forecast lows for tonight, mid-40s to mid-50s across the South Plains area, warmer as we get off the Cap Rock. Tomorrow, highs in the 70s across the area, except for Guthrie and Aspermont hitting 80 tomorrow, but everywhere else, 70 degrees for tomorrow. So a nice day, but still running a little bit warm for this time of year. Tonight, low of 49, so if you're camping out in Raiderville, make sure to bundle up this evening. tomorrow. Nice day, 77 here locally in Lubbock. As we head into our weekend, nice day for a game on Saturday, 77. However, if you're staying in line early, that low is 46, so you're going to want to bundle up if you're headed out 4, 5, 6 a.m. Sunday, high of 60. Cool front moving in on Saturday, dropping our lows for the night as well as our highs on Sunday, and possibility of freezing temperatures as we head into the week. Monday morning, early 31, so if you have 8 a.m.s, we recommend bringing out that puffer. Monday, high of 64, and then back in the lower 80s, upper 70s for the rest of next week. Lows back in the lower to mid 40s. And there is a football game this weekend starting at 11 a.m. Start of the game, 70 degrees, of course. Like I said, if you're standing in line, it's going to be a lot cooler in the morning. Start of game, 70, halftime, 74, end of game, 76. So daytime temperatures looking pretty nice, but mornings it could be chilly. I'm Elizabeth, and it's back to y'all.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Last week, the Texas Tech community prepared for a Halloween with a series of events hosted across campus. There was a wide range of spooky-themed options, and MCTV's Noah McKay found one event that gave Red Raiders a chance to face their fears and learn about a culture from the other side of the world.
Last week, the TTU Chinese Language and Culture program hosted the Halloween with Chinese at TTU event. The group set up in the free speech area next to the sub to celebrate the holiday. Matt DeHoyos is a major in the program and says the event was a way to get students interested in the program.
I'm out here volunteering for the Chinese program. I love volunteering for the Chinese program, and I want to keep promoting students to take Chinese.
Students in the Chinese program demonstrated calligraphy and helped attendees learn how to draw their own characters. The group used Halloween-themed words to put a spooky spin on the activity.
I came out here and I was able to practice some Chinese calligraphy. It was very nice. Oopsies. Very nice, very therapeutic. Remember, this one is ghost, this one is candy, this means love, and this means forever. It was very nice, it was very therapeutic, it was very interesting to learn. And I also got a little tattoo here, a little koi fish tattoo. It was very nice.
Gabriela Lopez took advantage of the event and thought it was a unique way to learn about different opportunities at Texas Tech.
I was able to learn about the Chinese program that they have here, and if anyone is interested in it, it's here for you guys.
Last week's event was organized by Dr. Yanlin Wang, director and coordinator of the Chinese program here in the CMLL building. DeHoyos says that Dr. Wang is a great resource for students interested in the program.
So if you want to know more about the Chinese program, you can reach out to some of our great people like Dr. Wang. She's a great resource. She runs the Chinese program. Or you can just go to the language building and ask about the Chinese program.
For MCTV, I'm Noah McKay.
The November election season officially ended on Tuesday night, and here in Texas, that means that several new constitutional amendments will soon be on the books.
And the government shutdown may be continuing into its second month, but that didn't affect an important diplomatic trip by President Trump. Madilyn Coyne has details on both of those stories in today's edition of the MCTV's Inside the Issues. Madilyn?
Thanks, guys. Welcome back to Inside the Issues. I'm Madilyn Coyne. This week, we're breaking down major developments both here in Texas and abroad, from the results of Tuesday's statewide election to President Trump's latest foreign policy moves across Asia. Voters across Texas went to the polls on November 4th for the state's constitutional amendment election, deciding on a record 17 propositions covering everything from property taxes and education funding to border security and public health. One of the most closely watched measures was Proposition 1, which passed by a wide margin. It creates a permanent technical institution infrastructure fund and a workforce education fund to support Texas State Technical College campuses statewide. TSTC operates campuses in Abilene and Sweetwater, both serving students from the greater West Texas region. The new fund will help the college expand facilities and buy updated equipment for training in high-demand industries like wind energy, welding, and healthcare. Deputy Vice Chancellor for TSTC, Joe Arnold, said, "We have to keep up with the demand for trained technicians to keep our economy going." Proposition 4 also passed, dedicating a portion of state sales tax revenue to the Texas Water Fund. The program will help communities across Texas repair aging water systems, build new pipelines, and plan for future droughts. In West Texas, where dry conditions and limited groundwater are constant challenges, the fund can make a lasting difference for smaller towns and water districts surrounding Lubbock. It's designed to prioritize rural areas, meaning many of the region's systems could qualify for state assistance to modernize infrastructure and strengthen drought resilience. The measure also supports agricultural water conservation efforts, helping protect one of West Texas' most important economic resources for decades to come. Proposition 14 was also approved by voters, creating the Dementia Prevention and Research Institute of Texas. The measure transfers $3 billion in state funds to expand research and treatment for Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and other neurological diseases. It's expected to open new opportunities for collaboration with universities and health systems across the state, and could potentially strengthen partnerships with regional institutions such as Texas Tech University Health Science Center in Lubbock, helping advance research, early detection, and access to care throughout West Texas. Across the state, voter turnout remains steady, with strong support for amendments focused on education, infrastructure, and health research, priorities that continue to shape Texas' long-term development. Turning to national headlines, President Donald Trump returned to Washington this week following a 10-day trip through Asia, where he secured a series of new trade and technology deals with China, Japan, and South Korea. In Beijing, President Trump announced what the White House called a landmark deal on economic and trade relations between the United States and China. The agreement lowers certain tariffs, suspends new Chinese export controls on rare earth and critical minerals, and opens broader access for U.S. agricultural exports, such as soybeans and sorghum. In Tokyo and Seoul, the president signed technology prosperity agreements, pledging cooperation on artificial intelligence, semiconductor supply chains, and cybersecurity. The deals are designed to promote economic growth across the Indo-Pacific while countering China's influence in emerging technology sectors.
We very much appreciate the trade. We're going to do tremendous trade together, I think more than ever before. We're just signing a new deal, and it's a very fair deal, and we look forward to welcoming Japan into the United States and a continuation, and it's something that everybody is very, very excited about.
The White House says these partnerships mark the next phase of the administration's Indo-Pacific strategy, one focused on peace through prosperity. Analysts report that the trip underscored America's commitment to long-term regional stability while also signaling a renewed emphasis on rebuilding manufacturing at home. As the administration looks to expand its global trade footprint, these agreements highlight a growing focus on economic security and technological leadership at home. From Texas polling places to world stage negotiations overseas, these stories reflect how both local and global decisions continue to shape the nation's political landscape. I'm Madilyn Coyne, and back to y'all.
Thanks, Madilyn. As we mentioned earlier, Halloween was last Friday, but the Texas Tech campus prepared for the holiday with a week-long calendar of events and activities. But when the most frightening day of the year finally arrived, one TTU facility opened the doors to Red Raiders for a unique option to celebrate while enjoying some friendly competition. MCTV's George Cabrera decided to find out more about the event that combined water, inflatables, and a stopwatch for an evening of terrifying fun.
On Halloween night, the Texas Tech Rec Sports invited students to the Rec Center leisure pool for a fun way to start off their evening.
So our sports programs, we do flash events every now and then. It's just kind of something you can show up to and participate like day of. And this is one of them. We have our Wicked Wipeout. So people could have shown up in their costumes. We have a Spider-Man here. And it's just great to see people, come together. I mean, strangers that don't know each other. They're coming out here and running this course and getting to know each other a little bit.
Wicked Wipeout challenged competitors on an inflatable obstacle course in the leisure pool. Students faced each other for the best time and a chance to win a prize. Caden Simpson was a first-time competitor in Wicked Wipeout and was excited for the opportunity to try it out.
I love it. It's cool. I've had a lot of fun. I heard about it last year. I was like, this year, I got to get to it. And hey, that was my best one yet. The last one, I've done 3, improved every time. So I don't know how much further I'm going to get, but I thought I did it good the last time around.
Rec Sports invited all students to try out the obstacle course even if they struggled to make it to the end. Some students like Joshua Wilkeman came to the event not for the competition, but for the fun of it.
It's pretty fun. I love doing stuff like this. I like funny adventures and messing around, so I called it 10 out of 10. I did all right. I was moving a bit, but I kept slipping everywhere, so I busted my butt a bit.
Wicked Wipeout was only held on Halloween night, but Rec Sports has more opportunities like these for students to attend throughout the year.
If you're signed up on our IM Leagues app, you'll get alerts of, we actually have leagues for, football, volleyball, soccer, and then we'll have flash events every Friday. We call it Flash Friday, and that's what's happening today.
For more information on how to get the IM Leagues app, you can visit recsports.ttu.edu and click on Intramurals under the Programs tab. For MCTV, I'm George Cabrera.
The Red Raider spirit is in full effect this week as the entire Texas Tech community gears up for one of the most important football games in at least a decade.
But Texas Tech football won't be the only team in action this week. Several other Red Raider competitors are hoping to get into the win column and give fans something to cheer for before an epic showdown at the Jones. MCTV's Logan Lacy joins us now with a rundown of Texas Tech Athletics' upcoming schedule in sports. Logan?
Thank you, Reese and Christopher. Texas Tech men's and women's basketball seasons got off to a hot start while volleyball tried to extend their winning streak and football gets ready for what some are saying is the biggest game in program history. We'll start with women's basketball. The Lady Razors season tipped off Monday night against North Carolina A&T. Tech started the game with a quick 10-0 run and finished the first quarter up 20-5. The scoring didn't stop there as Texas Tech took a 33-12 lead into halftime. Right out of halftime, the team didn't look like they wanted to hold back as the third quarter ended 62-29, but they did hold off just a little in the fourth as the game ended 78-40. Jalen Bristow led the team in scoring and rebounding with 19 points and 9 boards, while Bailey Maupin topped the Red Raiders in assists with 7. Texas Tech women's basketball currently has a 1-0 record and plays another game tonight at 6 versus UTSA at the United Supermarkets Arena. The game will also be streaming on ESPN+. Texas Tech men's basketball also started their season this week with a dominant win over the Lindenwood Lions on Tuesday night. The game went back and forth until the 8th minute of the game when Tech took a 3-point lead and never looked back as they went into halftime up 58-30. The Red Raiders didn't score as much in the second half, with the final score being 98-60, but they did continue to dominate in other areas, with the Red Raiders having a +16 rebound difference and a +7 turnover difference. JT Toppin was ruled out before the game with a lower body injury, but sophomore Christian Anderson stepped up, scoring an impressive 34 points while also having 11 assists, giving him his first double-double in his collegiate career. UNC Greensboro transfer Donovan Atwell also had a great performance, making 7 threes, contributing to a single-game team record for threes with 17 made overall. And freshman guard Nolan Groves finished the night with 16 rebounds, making the game a lot easier for his teammates. Texas Tech men's basketball sits at 1-0 with another fun home game coming up tomorrow night against the Sam Houston State University Bearcats. That game will be at 7 p.m. at the United Supermarkets Arena, and if you're too busy camping out at Raiderville, you can watch the game on ESPN+. Texas Tech volleyball went to Tempe, Arizona last night to play against number 8 Arizona State after winning 2 conference games in a row. But after starting the Big 12 play at 0-8, could the Red Raiders keep up their winning ways? The first set of the match started out pretty even, with Tech just down 3-4, but the Sun Devils made that small lead balloon as Arizona State won the first set 25-6. The second set started off closer, but after being tied at 10, ASU quickly gained a 5-point lead. The Red Raiders tried to fight back, but they couldn't as they went down 2-0. The third set was not even close from the start, with Arizona State leading 7-1, finishing the set 25-16, and winning the game to end the Red Raiders' winning streak. Tech's record is now 10-13 overall and 2-9 in the Big 12. Although the Red Raiders got swept against one of the best teams in the country, Texas Tech will have to move on quickly with another away game tomorrow at noon against the University of Arizona. That game will be live on ESPN+. Red Raider football has a huge game coming up that can make them the Big 12 favorites and even jump them a few spots in the college football playoff rankings. Speaking of those rankings, the College Football Playoff Committee released their list on Tuesday night with Texas Tech coming in at number 8. Other Big 12 members, BYU and Utah, were also ranked 7th and 13th, making this weekend's game a top 10 matchup. Texas Tech football just beat a challenging Kansas State team 43-20, making every margin of victory for the Red Raiders this season at least 20-plus points and a plus 200 yardage difference. The matchup this weekend against the BYU Cougars will be the toughest test all season for Tech, as BYU is still undefeated and currently sits at first in the Big 12. This will be Texas Tech's first top 10 head-to-head battle since the miraculous game versus the University of Texas in 2008, where Michael Crabtree got the game-winning catch with 1 second left. Another first since that game is ESPN's College Game Day coming back to Lubbock. Texas Tech has an 8-1 record and a 5-1 conference record. College Game Day starts at 8 a.m. Saturday at the Green Space by the Jones, while the game versus BYU will be at the stadium at 11 a.m. The game will also be available to watch nationally on ABC. If you are a student and want to go to the game or College Game Day, you might want to start heading into the Jones soon, as many students, including me, have been camping in tents for a couple of days now in excitement for the weekend. That's all for Texas Tech Athletics. Now back to Christopher and Reese.
Thanks, Logan. So Reese, are you looking forward to this weekend's showdown against BYU?
Honestly, I sadly won't be there. I got work that day. But there are several TVs around, so I can keep up with the game, you know?
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be going to that game. I'm really excited. Diehard fan, you know.
Yeah.
I do think it's going to be a close game, but I do think we're going to pull it out, winning by at least 6 or 7 points. So we'll see. That's all for today's edition of the MCTV Weekday Update.
Thanks so much for joining us, and be sure to check ttuhub.net every day for more news. We'll see you next week.